listening to The Announcer's Table with Daryl and Ian. This podcast is presented by RingIcon.com, the social networking site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything indie wrestling. Log on today and create your profile, and as always, enjoy the show.
Hey guys, this is Ian.
I'm Daryl.
And this is the Announcer's Table presented by RingIcon.com.
This is the Announcer's Take. What are we talking about today?
Actually, we're talking about reviewing a documentary that's on
Netflix. And it came out a few years ago. It's called Cards Subject to Change.
Yeah, and it's an independent documentary, or it's a documentary about independent wrestling. It follows a couple different people.
Mainly up north in the Jersey, New York area.
Which, I mean, is very interesting, which, you know, kind of brings me back to, if you haven't already, go check out the Wrestling North Georgia Style.
Yeah.
I would really like to see them hit their goal on their Kickstarter and get a Georgia documentary going.
Well, because you know what I realized in watching Cards Subject to Change is, man, like north and south, man, that's two very different.
Yeah, I mean,
very different styles.
It is a lot different.
You know, like, because where that one guy, I can't think of his name. His son's like, "Daddy, I want to go to the show."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, maybe I'll ask Mom and see if she'll bring you later." That doesn't happen here in the South.
Yeah.
Okay, in the South, everybody packs up in the car and goes to the show.
Yeah.
It's like a whole family thing.
It is definitely... that's what I think is the big difference, is that the Southern-style wrestling or Southern-style shows are more family-oriented.
And from what I've gathered from stuff I've seen up north, aren't quite as family-oriented.
Yeah, which is,
that's fine.
I like that aspect. It brings a more... sometimes mature audience.
Yeah.
And so, but the movie I thought was pretty good. It did follow about 4 or 5 different wrestlers.
Yeah. And a promoter.
And a promoter. And it was definitely interesting to see the difference between our Southern style and their Northern style, but also how much there is a lot of similarities, with the backstage kind of stuff, the promoting, the fan base for the most part is very similar, other than some
and you got to see a lot of legends, I will say, of wrestling, who are, I guess, on their downward spiral to the abyss. So pretty much, I'll just name off a few. Kamala was on there. Percy Pringle, or Paul Bear, as people would know him, before he passed away. Right. Kevin Sullivan.
There was
Sabu.
Bad A, Billy Gunn.
Yeah, and Road Dogg was on there, and Spike Dudley was on there. Who else was on there? Lacey Von Erich was on there.
And it just shows you that, they're...
I mean, she's not a legend, but she comes from a very esteemed wrestling fan.
Right, which I don't want to spoil it very much of it, because I won't tell you that. They do have endings pretty much for each of them. Person, but they did say that she kind of got out of wrestling and
they said she left TNA to pursue other endeavors, which doesn't really say what she's doing.
Right. So you don't. I don't know. I haven't followed up on it.
No, I haven't either. Because I met her because she did a show out here a few years back.
Oh, okay.
When Lynn he's passed away now, but when he was doing running some shows down here, she was a part of a couple of them.
Yeah. So, what did you think of some of the characters, or not characters, but some of the people?
Well, I thought I was very intrigued in seeing some of them. There's one, Necro Butcher, for example. I thought I've seen some hardcore matches. I thought I've seen, there's one. I mean, I don't want to give out all the details, but there's one, you can see, a good chunk of his arm is just hanging off. Yeah. And so then somebody starts yelling, call an ambulance now, because they're trying to wrap his arm up. And
the Japanese death matches and things like that.
Yeah.
I know it's a form of entertainment, but I don't see it as quite wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so I don't condone that.
Yeah. Well, I'll say, I mean, a little hardcore, I like.
Yeah.
But like matches like what if you watch this, what you'll see Necro Butcher and stuff like that, I don't view as a wrestling match. Okay.
Yeah.
To me, that's just I'm not entertained by that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like my stance on most women wrestling, I'm not entertained by most women wrestling because a lot of women. I'm not gonna say all, but there's a lot, especially on the WWE side, that really haven't got their stuff together on how to work a match, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably still whoop my ass in a wrestling ring. But
or outside of a wrestling ring.
Yeah, outside of a wrestling ring too. I would let them. But I mean, that's just my take on it. But I'm not a big fan of those kind of like extreme hardcore matches.
Right.
I mean, I liked ECW back in the day, original ECW back in the day, and what they did. But this takes it like to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, it's actually they call it the Japanese death matches because if you go to Japan or they're really doing that stuff out there, and they do electricity, all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's insane.
It's just a whole different form of entertainment. It goes beyond just hardcore wrestling. But one thing that I noticed with some of the characters or some of the people is that they followed a few people that had become drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you wrestle so much, there are pains to it. I mean, you're not landing on a air mattress every day.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna start feeling the pain, aches, and things like that.
Especially because a lot of these people in the independent scenes have been wrestling for years.
Right.
So one particular guy that you're have to be talking about at that time had already been wrestling for like 11 years.
Yeah.
Or something, and he was pretty good. And because this documentary took place over a few years, like 3 or 4 years, like they did filming this, which I was pretty impressed by because I was like, wow, that's dedication to filming it, or they just kept filming it, trying to get up a bunch of material and trying to make the money to produce it, which either way is awesome because they got a lot of great stuff. Sherry Martel was on there, and she's passed away now. But I mean, it's just a lot of. I thought it was really good. I thought it being on Netflix and being free. I mean, I know you pay for Netflix, but I mean, being on Netflix and free is. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was worth the hour and a half that I watched it.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, for the most part. One of the other things that I noticed was beyond drugs and things like that. I mean, one of the guys they talked to was getting on steroids.
Steroids, yeah.
And that's one thing that I knew some people that were doing steroids and things like that, and it's just not. It's not. I don't see the benefit in it. Everybody has a benefit.
Yeah, to it, but you know what though? They're just trying to get quick results to something that they want, and overall the long-term results it's not going to be the same.
Right.
So I mean, I liked it. I liked how they did it. I liked how they put it together, how they told the stories of the different people. Yeah. There was some sad aspects to it.
Yeah.
Like that one promoter, the only promoter they kind of followed, was doing pitting on an outdoor show at a baseball field, a minor league baseball field. And he said, there's like 400 tickets, sold, but there's like hardly anybody there. And so they like
and that was where he had he had big names like
BG was there, Spike Dudley was there,
Road Dogg was there.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Road Dogg was there.
And they had a few midget wrestlers and things like that. It happens. That definitely happens. But I liked his approach to it. Is that he takes in. This is a good way of his promoting. He takes in. Maybe one week he takes in a lot of money, and the next week he doesn't. But he pays the wrestlers the same amount each time, so that if he does go over one night, he can still pay him decent the next night. It's a good business aspect of it.
And I think they said he runs like 60 shows a month.
No, 60 a year.
60 shows a year.
So about one every weekend, but then occasionally having 2 or so a weekend.
Yeah. And from my understanding, it's one of the top independent promotions in the East, is what it was saying.
Yeah, I mean, and
So-
it was it in Philadelphia?
No, it was
Or
Jersey.
Jersey,
It was
okay.
based out of Jersey.
So,
But it was real good overall. I would not buy this DVD if it I would not buy it. I wouldn't spend money on it. I probably wouldn't waste my time in pirating it either. But it just happened to be on Netflix. You had mentioned it. I had seen it and already had it saved in my queue.
yeah.
But I was waiting for one of those just rainy days and stuff like that. And then you had mentioned you'd watched it, so I'm like, all right, let me watch it.
Yeah, so it was called Card Subject to Change, which of course I liked at the end of the whole thing.
Yeah.
They had a bunch.
Oh, yeah, Terry Funk was on there.
Yeah, they had a bunch of quotes from people, famous
Yeah.
wrestlers that said different
Superstar
things
Billy
about.
Graham was
Yeah,
on
they
there.
they had a bunch of different sayings about what they took Card Subject to Change, which is on most any flyer that you see with wrestling, and the reason you see that is because you don't know if somebody's going to show up or not.
They said that
you
back
hope.
in the day, like in the early days of like wrestling, before we got to what we know it as now, if you didn't have that disclaimer on there and the people didn't show up, you'd have to give refunds back if people wanted them. And so with that little disclaimer, card subject to change, it didn't matter. You could put that as a card,
And we still put it on there today. Just if
Yeah.
you're
Well,
on
even
a
like
show.
concerts do it now. Everybody does it now. They put that little.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this because of wrestling, but
Right.
just in general, most places put card subject to change. How many icons would you give it?
Do we do out of 10 or
Yeah, out of 10.
out of 10 icons? I would give it. I'd give it a 6.
I was thinking 5.5. So
Yeah.
5.5, 6. Yeah. I mean that's pretty spot on. It's worth the watch. I think you'll learn a lot if you're a fan of wrestling and like learning more about wrestling, especially if you're a fan of independent wrestling. I think you'll enjoy it. I mean, I didn't find my hour and a half wasted.
Right.
I enjoyed it.
If
it
you're
was nice.
if you're searching the TV one night, you don't find anything on, and you have Netflix, check it out.
Yeah.
It's worth the.
Yeah, I definitely. I won't watch it again.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely worth the watch. So check it out. And that's the announcer's take this time. If there's something you want us to review, talk about, watch something,
Yeah.
send it to us on ringicon.com, our Facebook page, anything. Just reach out to us. Let us know. Say, hey, you know what? Watch this or watch this. And we'll talk about it, or we'll talk about products. We'll do whatever.
Yeah, and we look forward to an announcer's take this fall with Wrestling North Georgia Style.
Yes, because that's another documentary coming out, Wrestling North Georgia Style.
Yeah, and they hope to get it out
End.
this fall.
So yeah, hopefully their Kickstarter picks up and takes off. They're trying to get $1,400.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Actually, I have it right here. Look, Wrestling North Georgia Style. Boom. So make sure you check that out. Go join the Kickstarter campaign. Send them some money. They have different stages that you can
Yeah.
get. Because I really want to see this happen. I really want to see it produced. We're actually in the documentary,
Yeah.
I've been told. So it's kind of neat. I'm excited to see it and see the contrast. Because we'll definitely review it. And because after watching Card Subject to Change, which is like North Wrestling,
Yeah.
this Southern Wrestling. So we'll see the different contrast.
Yeah. So until the next announcer's take, which I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be
We'll figure something out.
it'll be soon. But check out our other videos at youtube.com/ringicon, and we'll check you out next time.
See you later.